8 cylinders of foreign car stomping power, it's the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. The Medicare podcast that won't take no for an answer. He knows it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Medicare expert Doug Jones.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. As my Canadian nephew may have told you, I am Doug Jones, your Medicare expert for this episode and maybe all episodes to come for the whole history of this podcast. It is a pleasure to be able to address you and to talk about Medicare with you and to guide you through the Medicare morass into the bright light of Medicare knowledge and to help you over the threshold into a land where Medicare is not a problem, not a thing to be feared, but something to be enjoyed, at least until the government screws it up. There's always that possibility coming down the pike. In any event, I have allowed my expertise to be codified into a series of books entitled Medicare for the Lazy Man. In the current edition, Medicare for the Lazy Man 2024 is all over the shelves at Amazon.com. It's coming soon to BarnesandNoble.com. For some reason, they're dragging their feet. It might be because I told them I was moving from St. Charles, Illinois to Wayne, Illinois, where my summer home is, and I think that threw them into a tizzy. It's like a 5-week investigation of my financial records, all because of my new P.O. box in Wayne, Illinois. In any event, someday it'll be available on the shelves at barnesandnoble.com for those who don't like shopping at Amazon. But if you want your share of Medicare knowledge at a reasonable price, I would suggest going to Amazon.com, putting Medicare for the Lazy Man 2024 into the search window and finding your choice. It is going to be the really inexpensive, the Kindle version, the ebook. That's going to be under $5, or the paperback version, which is going to be in the neighborhood of $9, or the Audible book, which is the method by which many lazy people use to gain their Medicare knowledge. That is probably around $6 or so. And then, of course, we have the magnificent, the anchor of our fleet of books, and that's going to be the $24 hardcover edition that is going to be a spectacular addition to your book collection, your library, and it's already pre-autographed. Every one of these books that comes is in a holdable version that you don't listen to or put into a reader. Those two items are pre-autographed especially for you. So I hope you purchase them. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you write a review. Just a short review, doesn't have to be very long, but once you've purchased and read the book, if you would go back and give your opinion on Amazon.com, I would appreciate it. And another person I appreciate is Randy Carson, who is in a strange office building that I don't recognize. It looks like a modern creation. It's got some French doors that go to an outside area that's very sunny and warm looking. What am I looking at? Where are you today, Randy?
Didn't I tell you, Doug?
You didn't tell me anything.
We bought a new office building.
Oh, boy. When you say we, could you define the word we?
Well, have you got a mouse in your pocket?
Are you just happy to see me?
No, we bought this new office building. I forgot to tell you, I got such a bargain.
Oh, such a deal I got for you.
That's right. It came in at only $12 a square foot.
Wow, that is kind of a good deal. Of course, I would have to sleep on a few square feet of the floor because I wouldn't be able to afford any furniture. But
that's true.
I guess
That's true.
Well, it's nice that we're adding assets to our Medicare for the Lazy Man empire.
But it's all in. That's all in. Like office complexes usually give you a square foot price that's all in.
Sure.
Power and solar and
Yeah.
electricity and water and Everything. That's an all-in price. So it's really a bargain, Doug.
Now, that's not a term I've seen used in Chicago. I can't remember what it's like net.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, they can't tell you really what it means. Is yeah, that's a net. Okay, well,
yeah.
how about a net? What's that?
Yeah. Is that more or less?
Is that better or worse?
Well, it looks like a beautiful place. I'm proud to own it, and I'm hoping that someday I get to see it because I haven't seen anything else that we own that you've
Well,
you've
we're
shown me.
our net worth in terms of the company and the assets that we are gathering together, it's really growing and it's picking up speed, and pretty soon it'll Medicare for the lazy man will be a juggernaut.
Wow. Well, pretty exciting life we lead, isn't it?
It is. It is. But there's one more thing I need to share with you.
And what's that?
Okay, there's one thing that you said, in the last podcast, you said that there's some things going on with the Medicare Advantage people. They call it this we
Oh
call it
boy.
a knife fight
Yeah, that's
in
what
the
he
insurance business.
exactly right.
And you being an expert have never heard of that term, but
Nope.
it prompted a thought in my mind. Just keep this in mind, Doug.
Yes.
Tell your buddies in the insurance company and the friends and the relatives, don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
Okay. I believe we've heard that in the Untouchables movie.
Yes, absolutely.
And don't bring a I'm trying to think about a one-armed paper hanger or a one-legged man in an
one-legged
ass-kicking
man
contest.
to an ass-kicking contest.
Yeah, there you
that
go.
doesn't
So
work either.
there are a lot of rules of life that we should always remember.
Yeah, there really are, and most of them make sense.
Some of them more than others. For instance, there is a thing called the birthday rule. As I deftly slide into our subject matter for today, it's the transition was seamless. I know,
Doug,
but
the king of Segway.
I just segued myself right out of the room there. But what we have to start out our Medicare content with today is a little article entitled "The Birthday Rule: A Gift to Medigap enrollees." Now, remember, the term Medigap is synonymous with Medicare supplement. And this is the plan that a purchaser of Medicare, original Medicare coverage, needs to round out their protection against high medical expenses. So what I help people do is get the best Medicare supplement or Medigap plan for their particular needs. And that's why we talk a lot about Medigap or Medicare supplement around here. But this article talks about the birthday rule, which is a phenomenon that started in a couple of states and has started to pick up some steam. More and more states are enacting birthday rules. So let's see what that's all about. Medicare supplement plan changes are limited, but 13 states offer Medigap enrollees a special enrollment, and 7 do it with a birthday rule. Key takeaways in this article are: 1, all enrollees get a single Medicare open enrollment period. That is when you first purchased Plan B or Part B of Medicare, original Medicare, Parts A and B. Well, when you get Part B, they give you 6 months after that enrollment date to purchase a Medicare supplement without having to show evidence of good health. Number 2, some enrollees may qualify for Medicare supplement special enrollment. Say when you've worked beyond age 65 and you decide to leave your company plan, you can have a special enrollment period. Again, you don't have to show evidence of good health. Number 3, a birthday rule in 6 states, or actually 7 as of this year, allows users to switch Medigap or Medicare supplement plans. And number 4, are birthday rules likely in more states? So those are the key points of this particular article. Medicare enrollees have an annual opportunity to review and adjust their Medicare coverage each year, but that flexibility doesn't apply to Medicare supplement plans, commonly referred to as Medigap. Not in my house. Medicare supplement is the nomenclature of choice. While Medicare Advantage and Medicare Part D drug plans have an annual open enrollment period from October 15th to December 7th, federal rules only give Medicare beneficiaries one guaranteed issue Medigap open enrollment period in their lifetime. Medigap plans help to pay down the costs that original Medicare doesn't cover, costs such as deductibles, co-pays, and co-insurance. Depending on your medical situation, you might need more or less coverage at different times in your life. Unfortunately, having only one Medigap open enrollment period does not give enrollees the flexibility to change plans, at least not affordably. The truth is that you may or may not be able to change Medigap plans when you need to, and that's because insurance companies can use medical underwriting when you apply for a Medigap plan outside of the Medicare open enrollment period. Medigap open enrollment starts the day your Medicare Part B coverage begins, and it lasts for 6 months. This generally applies to Medicare beneficiaries who are 65 and older, although some states allow Medicare beneficiaries under 65 to sign up for Medicare supplement plans also. In that case, the beneficiary will have another guaranteed issue open enrollment window for Medigap when they turn 65 under federal laws. The enrollment period is the one time that qualifying Medicare beneficiaries can sign up for a Medicare supplement plan without medical underwriting. Put simply, it is a time when insurance companies cannot charge you a higher rate for any pre-existing condition you have. In addition, carriers cannot make you wait for their plan's benefits to kick in. Signing up for Medigap or Medicare supplement outside of that window could cost you a lot more. In some cases, insurance carriers could deny you coverage altogether. I don't see premium increases due to medical history very often. I only see denials of coverage based on the medical history. That's just me talking. Back to the article. Fortunately, there are Medigap protections in place that may qualify you for a special enrollment period. Believe it or not, your birthday may be one of them. Oh boy, pretty exciting. Some enrollees may qualify for Medigap special enrollment. You may qualify for special enrollment if you have a guaranteed issue right. In these cases, insurance companies cannot charge you more or cannot put a waiting period on your coverage, and they cannot deny you coverage if you have a guaranteed issue right. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid has established a list of 7 situations that require insurance companies that allow you to sign up for or change a Medigap plan without medical underwriting. This list of events is somewhat limited, but you may have even more options depending on what state you live in. As of this year, 2024, 14 states offer guaranteed issue rights that go above and beyond what the federal government does. Let's see, this applies to an annual enrollment or plan change opportunities. More than half of the states go above and beyond the federal requirements in terms of making guaranteed issue Medigap plans available to beneficiaries under age 65. A birthday rule in 7 states allows users to switch Medicare supplement plans. Let's see. So we were discussing 14 states. 7 have implemented a birthday rule that allows Medicare supplement enrollees to switch Medigap plans without medical underwriting around the time of their birthday. The other 7 states have other windows, either year-round, like in New York, or a specific time of the year, or related to the anniversary of when the person's current policy was purchased. To qualify for a birthday rule plan change, you need to already be enrolled in a Medicare supplement plan. In California, you have 60 days from the first day of your birth month to change to another Medigap plan with the same or lower level of benefits. You can also change insurance carriers during this time. This is an updated birthday rule that took effect on January 1st of 2020. Prior to that, the special enrollment period was only 30 days long. In Idaho, you have 63 days from your birthday to change to another Medicare supplement plan with the same or lower level of benefits. You can also change insurance carriers. In Illinois, you have 45 days from your birthday to change to another Medicare supplement plan with the same or lower level of benefits. This only applies to plans with your current insurance company. That's a little more restrictive. Legislation that was introduced in 2024 would extend this to include affiliates of your current insurer. Let's see. To qualify for this rule, you must be between age 65 and age 75. So you people in Illinois that are in your early 70s, call me and I will help you change to the much more cost-effective high deductible Plan G, save you a ton of money, and the The state will not be able to stop you if you do it, but they will be able to stop you if you are 75 or older. In Oregon, you have 30 days from the first day of your birth month to change to another Medicare supplement plan with the same or lower level of benefits. You can also change insurance companies. In Nevada, you have 60 days from the first day of your birth month to change to another Medigap plan with the same or lower level of benefits. You can also change insurance companies. In Louisiana, 63 days, different Medigap plan with equal or lesser benefits. This only applies to plan with your current insurance carrier or affiliates of your current insurance carrier. Kentucky, starting in 2024, a Medigap enrollee can switch to another insurer's Medigap policy with the same benefits as the plan they already have within 60 days of their birthday. So let's say that you're stuck in a Plan C, not Plan C, Plan G, which is the most comprehensive coverage available to people that turned 65 prior to 2020. So, turned 65 after 2020. So basically what you've got here is the opportunity in some cases to go to high deductible plan G, which is what I always recommend people do. But in other states, you cannot do that. You can only go to another insurance company with the same plan. And in other states, you cannot change insurance companies. So the way that your state handles the birthday rule enforcement is very different within some of these states. So the article continues, are birthday rules likely in more states? While Medigap is an excellent option for people on original Medicare, some policyholders may feel that they're locked into Medigap plans with high rates because the rates do go up every so often. In some companies, it's every year. In other companies, it's whenever they feel the need to maintain profitability. Guaranteed issue rights can help, but the situations outlined by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services are limited to very specific situations that apply to relatively few policyholders. The states that have created annual windows during which enrollees have at least some level of guaranteed issue Medigap rights are helping to give Medicare beneficiaries the option to potentially review their Medigap options even if they have pre-existing medical conditions. The number of states offering birthday rule plan change windows has increased in recent years. Kentucky is the latest state to add to this list with a plan change opportunity that became available this year. Additional states are considering this, and here is the list of those states: South Dakota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Vermont. Keep an eye out for more birthday rules in the future. I think that's good news because anything that gives flexibility to Medicare supplement policyholders is a good thing in my book. Let us take a break, Randy. Randy's, he's already taken a break. Well, I better join him. We're back, and we were talking about how Medicare supplement plans are improved, or at least the access to them is improved by birthday rules. I would encourage people that have been in a Medicare supplement Plan G for some period of time to give me a call, and I will help them transfer on their birthday rule open period to a high deductible Plan G to help them save money and basically improve their coverage, the cost of their coverage at the same time. Here's a little article about how Medigap insurance or Medicare supplement insurance is affected by pre-existing conditions. We've been hitting on that as part of that birthday rule scenario because if you have a pre-existing condition, the possibility exists that your insurance company will not accept you for coverage unless you're taking advantage of the birthday rule or one of the guaranteed issue rights that some states offer. So this article goes on to say delaying enrollment in a Medicare supplement policy can lead to higher premiums and denial of coverage in most states. Medigap plans, also called Medicare supplement insurance, are sold by private companies and can help pay some of the healthcare costs of original Medicare, such as copayments and deductibles. Unlike Medicare, there are circumstances when insurance companies can factor in pre-existing conditions when deciding whether to offer you a Medicare supplement policy or when setting the premiums. Medicare open enrollment only happens once. You get a 6-month Medigap open enrollment period that starts on the first month that you have Medicare Part B, and if you're 65 or older. During this period, you will have what is called a guaranteed issue right that protects you from denial of coverage for pre-existing conditions and higher premiums. An insurance company cannot use medical underwriting to decide whether to accept your application or upwardly adjust your cost, meaning they cannot adjust your cost upward. That's a very awkward wording that they use there. An insurer can deny you coverage if you don't meet their medical underwriting requirements. You may have to pay more, and there may be fewer options for you to consider after your Medicare open enrollment period is over. How pre-existing conditions can affect your Medicare policy eligibility. Many people don't realize that even though pre-existing conditions can't affect your ability to get other types of health insurance, such as Medicare, the rules are very different for Medicare supplement policies. You can pick any Medigap or Medicare supplement plan available in your area within 6 months after you initially sign up for Medicare Part B, but after that, Medigap insurers in almost all states can reject you or charge more based on your health. Once again, I never see them charging more. It's not been my experience that that happens very frequently. Mostly it's accept or reject. And if you've got a medical history the insurance company doesn't like to see, then you will have to disclose that on a questionnaire if you're changing from one company to another, or maybe one plan to another within the same company. And if they don't like your medical history, they have the right to not accept you for coverage. This can make it difficult if you'd like to switch to another insurer with better Medicare supplement rates, or if you had a Medicare Advantage plan for more than a year and you want to switch to traditional Medicare and a Medicare supplement policy instead. There are a few exceptions where the insurers cannot deny Medigap coverage after your initial enrollment period. 4 states, including Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, and New York, have special rules that let residents switch Medigap plans regardless of pre-existing conditions. Other states permit you to change plans at certain times. For example, birthday rules. Californians may select a different Medicare supplement plan that has the same or fewer benefits if they make the choice within 30 days of their birthday. And we just went through all the birthday rules in the various states. If you move out of your Medicare Advantage plan service area or change your mind within 12 months of signing up for Medicare Advantage at age 65, you will then have a guaranteed issue right to get into any Medicare supplement plan of your choice. Also, your insurer may let you switch to a less comprehensive policy regardless of your health, such as switching from Plan F to High Deductible Plan F, for example. Let's see here. If you're healthy, and you may still be able to qualify for a new Medicare supplement policy, especially if you're in your mid to late 60s. You don't need to wait until any specific time of the year to apply for a new Medicare supplement policy, because there is no annual open enrollment period for Medicare supplement. This means that if you are chafing under the yoke of your very high deductible in your Plan G rates, and you're relatively healthy, you don't have to be an Adonis, you don't have to be a gym rat or a perfect physical specimen. These medical history questionnaires take into account the fact that we are older and more likely to have some aches and pains. But if you are able to answer questions on your medical history in a way that satisfies the new insurance plan of your insurability, then you can switch from a onerously expensive Medicare, let's say Part G or Part F, Plan F, Plan G, Plan F, to a high deductible Plan G, the plan I recommend for all of my clients. The cost is so much less, and the protection is trending toward identical. So even if you have major, massive medical bills, if you're a little older than age 65 and you've got a high deductible Plan G, your protection is going to be very similar, because you will apply the savings to your deductible to reduce the impact of the medical bills if you should have some problems, some medical treatment required. And I'll give you an example. A client of mine, 83 years old, a woman who is in pretty good health, changed her coverage from Plan G paying $300 a month, and it was going up to $350 a month, to high deductible plan G at $65 a month. And she immediately started pocketing almost $300 a month in savings. It was like $278 or something like that. But her existing plan premium would have gone up more quickly and with larger increments than her new plan premium. When it gets a rate increase, it's a much smaller rate increase, and she is one happy camper. So, resources to help find a Medigap policy. For more information about your state's rules, you can go to your state insurance department website. You can find links at www.naic.org. That's National Association of Insurance Commissioners. Most have consumer guides that list Medigap prices and provide information for seniors searching for a plan. Your state health insurance assistance program can also help. That's referred to as SHIP. And the one thing I don't like about those guys is they tell their questioners, the people that go to them for help, they tell them that Medicare supplement plans based on your attained age are going to kill them. They have some sort of weird, wacky rules for the kinds of plans that they recommend people buy. So then people come to me and say, that's the kind of plan I want. And I have to explain to them that the SHIP people are wrong and that they are not at any more jeopardy of being taken to the cleaners by warning people away from their plans. Let's see here. Got another little article, Changing State Enrollment Requirements. This is about my home state of Oklahoma, a state I drive through frequently and haven't lived in since I was 4 years old. New Medicare supplement insurance enrollment requirements for Oklahoma. Regulation impacts policy purchase and notifications, effective September 1st. Amendments to the Oklahoma Insurance Department Medicare supplement regulations created new enrollment requirements for Medicare supplement issuers. Here are the specifics. In summary, these requirements outline that Medicare supplement policyholders in Oklahoma, 1, have a 60 calendar day open enrollment period beginning on their birthday each year. That's interesting. And number 2, they can, during this open enrollment period, purchase a plan with the same or lesser benefits as their current Medicare supplement plan, regardless of the current insurer, if they have not had a gap in coverage greater than 90 days since their initial enrollment. So it sounds to me like another birthday rule. It says it begins, the 60 calendar day open enrollment period begins on their birthday each year, and they can purchase a plan with the same or lesser benefits as their current Medicare supplement plan. Additionally, insurers of the current policy, or we would be calling it the prior policy if they're going to switch to a new one, they are required to furnish a statement of benefits or other pertinent information sufficient to permit verification of benefit determination to any new issuer upon request. There will be no charges to selling materials. I don't know what that means. And policies issued under the revised regulation will be paid as guaranteed issue. This is an interesting change. It's a state issued birthday rule that wasn't on our list of birthday rules that we just read about earlier in this particular episode. Wow. Well, I like to see birthday rules. They do tend to drive up the cost of the product a little bit. When you've got a product and the state is breathing down your neck to make it more available to people that might have medical conditions, then there's going to be an added cost. However, I really feel for these people that are trapped in plans that became too expensive for them. There are some companies that sell the product at a very reasonable rate as kind of a loss leader, and then when the people are enrolled and have trouble changing, they jack those rates up over the course of a period of years until the cost becomes extravagant or exorbitant. And then the company is raking in the dough. So I prefer to see the Medicare birthday rules be enacted in these states, which offer people the opportunity to get out from under an overpriced Medicare supplement plan without medical underwriting. I think that is a beneficial change for the industry and for the people who have Medicare supplement in order to not be trapped in a plan that's going to be too expensive for them down the road. So enough pontification for me, Randy. It looks like it's getting dark outside and the crickets are chirping and might be time for us to get on out of here. What do you think?
Well, I think you're right. But, I just have one thing, every once in a while on the podcast, I'll come up with a very, very, odd, out of the way piece of knowledge that I play Stump the Insurance Expert with.
Oh boy, I haven't been stumped in a while. I'm ready for a good stumping.
So given the fact that I always talk about a particular altitude that I put you in your Fortress of Solitude up in the high ground behind Cave Creek, Arizona.
Well, I'm painfully aware of all that.
For every 1,000 feet that I raise you, how much does the temperature drop?
I've heard numbers between 3 and 5 degrees. I'm going to say 5 because it's miserable up here in the mountains on some days.
Let me read my notes to you. For every 1,000 feet of altitude, you drop 3 to 5 degrees. Oh my God. You won.
I'm psycho. I didn't get stumped today. That's unusual.
So anyway, I love the stuff that you know.
I was going to tell you about my trip to Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
There were, I think, 6 of us in mid-year Corvettes. Mid-year Corvettes are from 63 to 67. Ours is a 65. And so we were driving from our various homes in various parts of the country to California to start a trip. I think it was to California. Anyway, so we went through Colorado and stopped at Pikes Peak, and we all drove up to the top of the mountain. I had a little tiny bubble in my brake line, and at 14,300 feet, that little tiny bubble became a very large bubble. And on the way up, we passed a ranger station where a guy with a heat gun was standing there. And what he does is check people on the way down to see if they're riding their brakes like they shouldn't be. So anyway, we went by that guy, smiled and waved, and got up to the top of the mountain. My brakes were completely gone. My pedal went right to the floor. And so then what happened was we had a little meeting of the drivers of all of our Corvettes. We all got together and had a meeting, and they elected me to go down the mountain first so that the guy without brakes would not run into any of them if he lost control. Now I've got a 5-speed overdrive transmission. So I started going down and I worked, first gear, second gear, first gear, second gear. I was able to maintain speed without using the brakes and still not endanger anybody. And I got farther down the hill. I regained a little bit of my braking capability, got to the guy, the ranger with the heat gun, and all the cars in front of me, some of them he lectured, some he pulled, he said, go over to the parking lot. I'm going to explain how you should be using your brakes on the way down the mountain. When I got to him, he gave me a big thumbs up. I think my brakes were actually colder than the ambient air temperature because I hadn't used them at all. And he gave me a big, I would have gotten like a junior ranger badge if he had one to give me. And
oh my God, that's a great story.
It was a scary experience, and Mary still talks about it as perhaps the last day of her marriage to me. It could have been the end of the line.
Now, is your portrait still up in the ranger station for low temperature Jones?
No, they just he gave me a thumbs up and said, "Good driving, sir."
Okay. Well, that's a great story. So anyway, as Doug has just said, our 75 cents has run out. But before I, absolutely bring the plane in to 37 left today, I always want to mention that you can reach out to Doug. He gets grumpy when you don't. Reach out to Doug at dbj@mlmmailbag.com. Don't forget, Doug is licensed nationwide to help you with your Medicare supplement planning. Check us out at the website, medicareforthelazyman.com. We would always appreciate it if you could drop a couple reviews for us on our content. Doug works really hard on it, and the numbers mean a lot of positive things in the Medicare podcast.
But do we?
Easy for you to say. But anyway, last but certainly not least, I want to thank you for joining us. You could have been 100 different places doing 99 different things, but you weren't. You chose to spend some quality time with us on Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. And you have just spent about 32 and a half minutes with Doug Jones, the anti-insurance insurance guy, originally from Oklahoma, no more. He lives up in the high ground behind Cave Creek. And as we talked about it, 3 to 5 degrees per 1,000 feet. And right now it's 66 degrees. So I'm going to take him down to about 60 degrees, which would be another 2,000 feet.
I can live with that. Thank you, Randy. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Come on back for our next Medicare for the Lazy Man podcast. Bye-bye.